Hey everyone, welcome to Finding Grace with Paula. If you're new here, I'm Paula. I'm 72 years old and I've been on Zepbound for the last 5 months. I have lost just over 40 pounds, and on this channel, we talk about that. We also talk about meal planning, healthy aging, and finding grace in every season of life. So, one of the questions that everyone keeps asking me is, what do you eat on Zepbound? Well, the truth is, I do make sure that I get the appropriate amount of calories, protein, and fiber at every meal because I want to make sure that I have the appropriate amount of nutrition that my body needs to lose weight. But one of the things I don't like doing is meal planning. It's my worst nightmare. I try to make it easy, and I have found a way of making it easier, but does meal planning cause you stress? I think so. I think we're all the same. And so I've come up with an easier way to plan my meals, and I'd like to share that with you today. This is what I call my Simple GLP-1 Plate. And I didn't find it in a book. It's simply the way I've learned to make meals for myself. And before I eat, I ask myself these three questions. Did it include protein? Did it include fruits and vegetables? And did it include healthy carbohydrates with fiber? And that's it. Then throughout the day, I simply keep track of my calories, protein, and fiber to make sure that I am reaching all the goals correctly. And it's just a simple plate that has taken so much out of deciding what I need to eat. Let's start with protein. Protein is where I always begin my meals. One thing that I've learned on Zepbound is you need protein to keep your muscle. Very, very important. So it not only helps with your muscles, but it keeps you fuller longer, and it helps me reach my daily protein goals. Some of the protein foods that I like to eat are eggs, hard-boiled eggs specifically, and my husband thinks I eat way too many eggs. Eggs are a little bit better for you these days than they were days before because they always talked about them being bad for you, but now I think they're pretty good for you. Anyway, love eggs. Then I have Greek yogurt. That is another favorite protein of mine, and it's become one of my favorite breakfasts. Chicken. I love chicken, and I make it all sorts of ways, and we'll be talking about different videos on how I do that. But I do love chicken, and I have it probably every other day, sometimes every day, but I really do like chicken. And salmon. I try to have salmon at least once a week, sometimes twice a week, so I'm coming up with different ways of making it so I can do that. And I love chicken sausage, and I have these chicken sausage patties that I really do like that I get from Costco. And so those are the main proteins that I eat during the day. I also love cottage cheese. And my mom used to have cottage cheese all the time when she was younger, or I should say when I was younger. And she'd have cottage cheese with peaches on it. And I never really got into that. But now that I'm older, I have. It seems that you like things as you get older that you didn't like when you were younger. But the important thing is making sure that I have the appropriate amount of protein that I need during the day. Next, I try to include fruits and vegetables. Again, I try to keep it very, very simple. Sometimes it's blueberries in my yogurt. I love that. I'll have it for breakfast. I may even have it for dessert later on, but I love blueberries. And sometimes it's an apple. I'll have my hard-boiled eggs in the morning with salt and pepper on them, and I have a nice big apple to go along with it. I really love the Pink Lady apples from Aldi. Sometimes lunch includes a salad, or I may include that salad in a tortilla. I'll have a big tortilla with chicken on it, grilled chicken, and then I include whatever it is that I would have in my salad. I put that on the burrito, and that makes a great lunch. Dinner, dinner might include broccoli. My poor husband hates broccoli. Actually, he's just had too much broccoli. I think that's the issue. But I'll have broccoli with my meal. I'll have green beans. I love green beans. And zucchini. Now, there again, my husband doesn't like zucchini, but I think he just kind of tolerates it a little bit. But I love those three things. And I also really enjoy just a mixed vegetable that he likes. And so we do tend to have a lot of that. But these foods definitely provide a lot of vitamins and minerals and antioxidants. And they also include, which I didn't even know at one point, vegetables include protein and fiber. So I always look to those to go along with my protein. And I try to make it a very colorful plate. I'll use the green of the broccoli, and maybe I'll include some red peppers and saute those a little bit in the pan, and that's really good. Sometimes I'll have corn. And so when I look at my plate, I just want it to be colorful. Eating the rainbow, I guess. And I just try to make it simple, foods that I love, and it's pretty delicious. Now let's talk about carbohydrates. And this one surprises a lot of people. Yes, I do eat carbohydrates, but I eat the good carbohydrates and not the bad ones that are the potato chips and the Oreo cookies and cake. I try to eat good carbohydrates like whole wheat products, whole wheat pasta. I try to buy pasta that's whole wheat and contains protein in it. And I love English muffins. I'll get the whole wheat English muffins. I'll eat the brown rice. I love that. And oatmeal. Sometimes I'll have oatmeal in the morning for breakfast, and that has a lot of fiber in it. I'll also have sweet potatoes. That is a great carbohydrate, and it's full of fiber. And beans. All kinds of beans. I like garbanzo beans. I love black beans. And my husband's not a big bean guy, but I try to put some beans into, like if I make a chili, of course, I'll have beans in it, and then he likes them. He just doesn't like them on the side with like rice like I do. I'll make ground beef like a taco bowl, and then I'll have a side of black beans, and I'll go ahead and have some rice on the side, and he'll skip the beans when it's something like that. But beans are a very good source of fiber. So if you're low on your fiber for the day, if you can have some beans, put it on top of rice, and some vegetables added to it, it's very good. So these foods, the fiber especially, it lets you stay fuller longer, and it's important, especially on a GLP-1 medication. You want to stay fuller longer, and you want to get your appropriate amount of fiber in those carbohydrates because, as you know, things move a little bit slower when you're on a GLP-1 medication, and so you need the fiber. So yes, you can eat good carbohydrates. I love this simple plate because it works for breakfast, it works for lunch, and it works for dinner. Now, the foods may change, but the formula remains the same. So whenever I ask myself, what do I want to eat? I make sure that I ask myself those three questions: protein, fruits and vegetables, carbohydrates with fiber. And I try to keep it simple, and it's flexible, and it's something that I can actually stick with. If you found today's video helpful, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up because that helps YouTube share it with others who may be looking for simple ideas like these. And if you're new here, I'd love to invite you to become a part of Finding Grace with Paula. Our community is awesome, and we share lots of things together that are very helpful. Every week, I share my Zepbound journey, healthy aging, simple meals, and encouragement from women navigating life's changing seasons. Next week, I'm going to go into my kitchen and I'm going to make you some ideas for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So stay tuned for those. Until then, thank you so much for spending a little time with me today, and we'll talk to you later. Bye for now.